Alright guys, so we're diving a new spot today. Water's about 56 degrees. We're sitting at about 12 feet and it's a completely slack tide out there. So straight from the top, just scouting out the area from the surface. It's probably about 8, 7 feet deep here. I'm seeing some togs swimming around already. This is as soon as I jumped off the boat, and bam, we got one on the stringer. So we're gonna swim up, grab it, brain it, bleed it, all that good stuff. Make sure we get some good meat to throw on the stringer. So we're going back down for the first real dive of the day. This is probably about 12 feet, 13 feet, something like that. And I spotted this crack from the surface, so I kind of just wanted to swim through it and see what we could find. Um, this is how I kind of hunt for fish up here. It's a little different than the kind of stuff you see online. Mostly in like clearer places. There's some stuff in like Hawaii with like Ryan Meyer's expeditions and things like that where he really preaches to lay on the bottom and just sit there and wait. But that just doesn't really seem to work for me much up here. So I like to hunt around, see if I can find fish out patrolling or check those caves. It's really big for tautog right now, and they like to be in those caves. So I'm also checking the sandy spots. There is some chances of fluke being in there. Um, we're pretty shallow, so it's pretty unlikely, but you never know. So back up, back down again. This is going to be the second dive of the day, and again we're just checking those sandy spots, checking under the rock ledges, things like that, swimming around and just see what we can find. Any good structure, something that's gonna be holding fish, maybe fish out patrolling around. Just really trying to check all those little spots and kind of learn my way around this new area and kind of scout it out. See what's where and what the depths are looking like, where the fish are around and things like that. So I'm still just scouting around right here, and you can hear my watch go off in the background right there. That's my 1 minute mark. Time to head up. Especially when I'm scouting around like that, I like to try and limit myself to about 1 minute. I'm pushing a lot, trying to really move myself around and things like that. So I went back down. I seen that crack, and I wanted to try this spot. On up on top of the ledge, I seen this beautiful tog come into frame, and just couldn't resist. Had to take a shot on him. Uh, Beautiful shot. Seeing it was a really good holding shot. It was through his head, so I probably wasn't going to lose the fish. So I figured I'd really take my time getting up to the surface, really make sure I could get my hands on this one. So we're back down again, checking those sandy spots. I was really trying to check the sandy spots for the fluke and stuff on this dive. So I specifically chose an area where I was seeing a little bit more sand from the surface. Again, it's about another 10 feet, um, 10, 11. So I'm struggling kind of to stay down. My buoyancy's set to really, keep me down below like 30, down 20, 25. I can kind of hold my own, but up in the shallow waters, I'm floating. It's just making it so hard to stay down on the bottom. So I was out scouting around, came across this fish, and who's probably doing the same, out looking for crabs or something. Decided I'd follow him around just to get a good look at him. I couldn't bring myself to take a shot on him because I already had really good fish on the stringer, so it wasn't worth taking a shot unless it was a pretty good fish. So I let those two swim away, and after a few minutes, dove back down, give it another shot. So as I'm swimming around doing my scouting, I can't help but realize how beautiful it is down there. Again, I'm down probably like 12, 13 feet, so I'm still getting plenty of light. Came across this horseshoe crab. Super cool. Never seen one of these down there before, so it was cool to get to interact with that thing down there. Such an awesome experience, getting to swim down there. You know, Knowing anything could be around the corner. You only have that 10-foot visibility, so you never know what you're going to run into. It's just so cool. So I seen this sandy spot from the surface. Thought I'd swim down, give it a look. The tog really like where the rocks meet the sand, so I figured there may be something down there. The tog could be a fluke. You never know. So go down to check it out, and he took off on me. I gave him a couple small grunts here to see if that could maybe bring him back in, and didn't even hesitate. Kept moving. So I kind of went after him, kind of made a little bit of a judgment call. He wasn't going to give me a good shot on him, and he wasn't really the size I was looking for. So I let him go and went off to go check some more sandy spots. So there's no fish on this dive, but I do think it's super cool to just check out these new spots and to be able to just swim around and see what the layout's looking like. Because you get to see the water from the surface so much, but you never really get to see what it looks like underneath. So it's so cool to just be out there and to be able to know what the geography at the bottom of the ocean looks like. It's only, like I said, 10, 15 feet in these areas, but it's still cool to just be able to see what it looks like down there finally, rather than just seeing it from the surface. So here we're just floating up at the surface, about 10 feet, so I can kind of see some good shadows and stuff on the bottom. Trying to find a good spot, picking out a spot, which I don't usually get to do due to the visibility. Where maybe the tautog are sitting around, or maybe those big sandy patches where we can find some fluke. Um, and I finally found a good spot, so we went after it. Go check it out, see what it looks like down there. So I'm swimming up on this sand patch here, and I kind of push myself up off the bottom, just in case there are any fluke around. I don't spook them before I get a chance to see them or something like that. I don't want to land right on top of one, obviously. Um, so just swimming around, checking these sandy spots, and no fluke today. But again, we're only in like 12 feet of water, 13 feet of water. So, I mean, that's pretty much to be expected this time of year. So I got another spot here where I can see from the surface. Again, that's highly unusual up here. Usually you get about 4 or 5 feet of visibility. So I'm just kind of swimming around, checking things out, and I found this really deep kind of hole here. So I wanted to swim down, check the ledges, things like that for tautog, and kind of just check the area out. It seemed pretty fishy. Came up on this tautog, swam up on it, and gave me a perfect shot on him. But he was kind of facing away, so when I took the shot, it was kind of a long shot, and he was already kind of quartering away from me. So he gave that little head flick, and he was gone. So I've seen this fish from the surface, again, about 10 feet. It might have been about 8 actually. So instead of doing a full duck dive, I kind of just exhale, let myself sink, and try and get a little bit more on plane and below that water level. And I kind of took a rushed shot there, but I knew he was going to duck around that corner. And again, he flicked his head, and last second, they're so fast with that, they flick that head, and you just miss the shot. I found this nice big flat spot here, which is really good to find tautog out cruising around looking for those crabs, looking for those shellfish, digging down in the rocks and stuff. Came across this absolute cow right here, gave me the perfect shot, and my shot wasn't great though. I shot it too far forward. I know I didn't have a good shot on it, so I'm really taking my time getting it up. Telling my girlfriend on the boat, I got a good fish. Pull your line, and I might need your help in a second. So I see here I barely have it through the lip, so I'm being real careful with it, letting it pull some slack out, not putting too much pressure on it, so I don't tear that shaft out of that lip. So I'm trying to be really careful with this fish and catch my breath back because that was a long dive, and I realized I'm gonna have to go back down, grab this fish by hand because it doesn't want to come back up. It's just sticking to that crab pot. So I went down, got my hands on the fish, and brought it back up to the surface. And this one, I didn't even trust myself to try and brain it and stuff. Before I got it all the way back to the boat, I'm hollering at her, hey, I'm coming back. I got a fish. So I get it back over there, get it in the boat, and I jump back up, dispatch the fish, bleed it, all that good stuff. And then I'm back in, for a little more action, but this is where the water starts to get a little more murky. The tide is coming back in, so it's pushing all that debris back in, and it's not terrible. It's better than what I'm used to up here. It's still pretty good, but it's definitely getting worse than what it was before. So we're down, cruising around a little more, checking things out, and we come across this fish, and it gave me a pretty good shot on it. So with that kind of a distance and that kind of a fish, it's hard not to take the shot on it. He started taking off on me, so I kind of just sent one in towards him and got pretty lucky. Kicked his head the wrong way, I guess. But we got him up and got him on the stringer too. So here's a little bit better of a look. Nice chunky dark fish. Uh, just a beautiful fish. So this is the last dive of the day, and I'm down cruising and come across this fish. It just comes out of nowhere, and really I just have to take a snapshot at it. So I shoot from the hip and got really lucky, stoned it, and just brought him up to the surface. Last fish of the day, so we're ready to head in and go have a good dinner. Well, guys, this is our haul from today. I appreciate you guys tuning in. I'm going to try and upload videos like weekly, so if you guys can and you don't mind, drop by, check it out, and maybe leave a like if you like it. Thanks, guys. Have a good one.